Steve and Blue have been building some things. Steve and Blue built a contraption with dominoes. Steve wondered if the ball would make the bell ring, and it did. Steve wanted to build another, but Blue wanted to build something else. Steve plays Blue's Clues. To get rid of the paw print, he uses a paper towel roll and an animal cracker box to make a paw print scraper upper paw print captioning device. Then he cleaned up the paw print and got his notebook. After singing, "We are gonna play Blue's Clues," side table drawer called out to Steve, asked if he was forgetting something. Steve figured he wasn't, since he had his tool belt, notebook paper, and his hands, but I saw the crayon wasn't in the spiral. Steve went back to side table drawer to get the crayon. Instead, he got a flashlight, which had the first clue. Steve drew the flashlight in his notebook, but used the flashlight instead. Then he used his crayon for real to draw the flashlight. Steve didn't know what Blue wanted to build with a flashlight. He thanked side table drawer and then went to the right to find more clues and to follow Blue. Find some popsicle sticks assembling themselves in various shapes and trying to figure out what they are creating. The popsicle sticks were building. They built a ladder, an umbrella, and a truck. Then Steve heard Tickety talk before he left. Steve said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See you later, popsicle sticks. And went to Tickety talk. He said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I helped her out and said 6. Then Tickety continued and said 6, 7, 8, 9. Look outside on the clothesline. Then Steve saw the second clue on a sheet. He drew it in his notebook. The first and second clue was a flashlight and a sheet. But still, Steve doesn't know what Blue wants to build. We help out Shovel and Pail. First to measure their sandcastles and see which is taller, which is Shovel's, and then to even them up, it was mail time. Mailbox made a mailbox opener, upper carrier contraption, and Steve had a letter getter outer contraption. Steve then sings, "We just got a letter." Later, we help a friend named Tink, who is flung out of her contraption world to get back to where she belongs. In Tink's contraption, she got help from Steve and Blue. The contraption was big, and Tink's friend was below. They arrived at a big hole with a net. Tink thinks they should jump, but Steve said it was too far. I said they should swing across. Steve saw a rope. So together, Steve, Blue, and Tink swung across the rope and made it to the other side. They then went down an elevator. Tink said they have to go to the left. Then they arrived at another hole. Steve wondered what they had to do. I said they have to turn the wheel. Tink's arms were too short to reach. Steve figured he could build something before he could. Blue got a triangle stuck and turned the wheel. Then they walked across the wheel like a bridge and went down another elevator. Then they saw the finger below. Steve wondered what they should do now. I said they should push it down. Steve then said that if they push one end of the finger down, the other will go up. He needed something heavy. Blue then had 2 heavy squares stacked up, and it was heavy enough to push down the finger like a skill. Steve, Blue, and Tink went onto the finger, and it got heavier than the other side and went down. Tink and her friend were soon reunited, and they flung Steve and Blue out. As Steve walked along, I found the third clue on the snack table. Steve then tried to look, but the table moved by itself, and again. And Steve looked and not looked a few times, then caught the table red-handed. He then draws the table in his notebook. Then it's time to go to the thinking chair. The 3 clues were a flashlight, a sheet, and a table. Steve thought Blue wanted to put the flashlight in the sheet and do a little flashlight dance on the table, but that was not it. Steve then figured that Blue could put the sheet over the table to take the flashlight and go under. The answer was a tent. Blue wanted to build a tent by putting the sheet over the table and taking the flashlight and crawl under because it's dark under there. Steve then sang, "We just figured out Blue's Clues," and Blue put the sheet over the table with side table drawer, who had the flashlight. Then the popsicle sticks arrived and built a tent too. Then Shovel and Pail arrived, and they were both even. Then Tink arrived and wondered if there were any fingers. Luckily there weren't any. Steve then sings the So Long song.